Hello and good evening and welcome to Fancy Football. On an eve to the FA Cup, um, it's just getting better in football these few days, and we have to talk about this FA Cup. This will be our last Europe Big Five show for this season. Another thing you see on this channel will be transfers, and the Euros 2014 that will be held in Germany. Starting from the 14th of this of June. Sorry. So with me on the show this evening is no other than the Sport Bishop, Nonso Arinzechi. Nonso, evening, and how are you?
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be part of the show. Great to be here again. And also, let's have a great show this evening, the final episode of the Big Five.
Let's fire down this episode of the Big Five, which is, let's say, the last for this season on an FA Cup weekend that will see Manchester United or Manchester City win it. This I call the Manchester FA Cup Derby. You can call it anything, but this is what it is. Now, so let's talk about team news. We heard that Harry Maguire will not be playing for Manchester United in this derby, but every other person in the United team is fit and fired on. And there's no other better place we can start than the speculation or the rumor that we are hearing that Eric Ten Hag will be sacked at the end of this match, whether he wins the FA Cup or not. This playbook is the second time we are seeing it. You remember when Louis van Gaal won the FA Cup? He was sacked immediately after the FA Cup. He didn't even get to anywhere. Once you are sacked as a manager, you have this 18 months period that you don't talk to the press about what really happened or what happened at the club. And I think that tomorrow in the press conference, I just think that maybe after the press conference he will be sacked, but we'll have a hint in that press conference or post-match press conference whether he will be sacked or not. So what's your take about it before we go into the nitty-gritty of the FA Cup?
From Sincere too, I think he's had a below par season. People expected him to move up, from what he did last season. Last season was quite good, and they expected a better performance than what they got last season. But unfortunately, it's a nosedive, free fall from the heavens. And like you did say, they're struggling right now, but it's going to be a tick to get to Europa League football. If they win the FA Cup, they get Europa League football. If they do not, they may be playing Conference League football or may not be playing European football at all come next season. This is a team that, got to, like you did say, got to the final of the FA Cup last season, got Champions League football with quite relative ease last season. And I thought by this year, they will be competing, at least contesting for the Premier League title, but it hasn't happened for them. Eric Ten Hag has had issues with players like Ronaldo. Jadon Sancho has left the club and are doing good reasons for Eric Ten Hag, but the truth is that Man United are a big team. I think they are used to winning laurels, winning trophies, and I don't think they may want to take this season slightly after what Eric Ten Hag has done. I quite agree with you that even if he wins the FA Cup, he may still want to pull the plug. We have seen teams do it in the past. I talked about Van Gaal and Man United. We can go to Real Madrid where Vicente Bosque was fired after even winning the Champions League for Real Madrid. I can go look at Xavi after they have begged him to stay. They fired him and they told him he'll be sacked. So he just has to play the game tomorrow against Sevilla, this Sanchez Piquet, and then he'll be off. So I'm loving the merry-go-round that's going around the managerial positions across Europe. But again, I think Ten Hag is working on thin edge. And I don't think he may survive the end of the season. I think even if he wins the FA Cup, he may just swim the exit door and get someone who can rebuild the team. Because it looks like, to be sincere with you, they are instead of progression, they have been retrogression, and the team has dropped drastically from where they used to be and where they ought to be and where they have to be.
I know you are talking as a neutral person, but I want to tell the fans out there, being a United fan, I'm going to tell you, I have to be plain, and this should not happen at Manchester United. Now you have the likes of Sir Jim and Ineos coming into the club. We thought that this whole issue of leaks and every other thing will stop. Now, many of us feel that many United fans still feels that they feel that Ineos are in charge of the club. Ineos are not in charge of that club, whether we like it or not. And also, you might agree with me. The Glazers are in charge of that club. And that is why we are having this.
They
I
also
keep on saying this.
the operational aspect of the club.
It doesn't
They
matter,
run
but
the
they are part
club
of the board. They are part of the board. They run the club. They are still part of the board.
Yeah.
And this is coming
Yeah.
through them. And I want to say this categorically. I am not a fan of sacking Ten Hag, and this is why I think sacking Ten Hag is not even the solution. The solution is getting the structure of the club right. First of all, first and first. United among the big six are the worst run club currently now in England. They are the worst run club. The structure is not there, and that is why they're trying to put those structure in place. The Glazers didn't put that structure in place. The Glazer dismantled the Alex Ferguson and the Vigil structure, brought in their person in the name of Woodward, and Woodward destroyed everything in that club. That aside, let's look at the big picture. You sacked Ten Hag today, for instance. Who will you bring in? You are looking for an Ipswich manager that did one season wonder. He's a season wonder. He has not proven himself.
It's not a season wonder. It's a two-season wonder. He was from League One to Championship, from Championship to the Premier.
It doesn't really matter for me. It's a season wonder. It's just a step.
Okay, I think he's a rookie. I quite agree with you that he's still a rookie.
Yes, I think most of us forgotten that Pep Guardiola moved from the Barcelona team. I was doubting it. What would Pep Guardiola bring to that? And at that time, he had good players, and that was what really helped him along the line. We also forgot that at United, the selling of that club was a problem for virtually almost 18 months. Almost 1 year that the club was put on sale. It brought instability to the club. That is one thing. Number two, you have players that don't play for the badge; they play for their representative badge. And this is it. The likes of Sancho plays for himself. The likes of Rashford, they play for themselves. Maguire play for themselves. McTominay play for themselves. The only players I can single out of that team that has played for United this season is Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho, Kobe Mainoo, and Diego Rasmus. Oh, yes, Rasmus Højlund. Yes, even Casemiro that people were complaining that he was awful at the end of the season, that he couldn't meet his range, he couldn't meet this, he couldn't meet that. This was the problem. This was the fault of the club. And you had players like Mason Mount that were bought for £65 million that were not up and doing. You had players like Luke Shaw. For me, I think I won't blame him. Maybe it's the occurrence of the injury he has had that has belittled him over the years. That is still coming back. You also have had his backup Malacia as well, uninjured. You had Maguire in and out. You have Victor Lindelof in and out. You also have, I think for me, he's the best defender in Man United. He wasn't really stable at that back. In the person of Lautaro Martinez, he wasn't stable. Yes, at that back, and this are cumulative of all the problems that team have had over the years. Now you want to sack a manager. You want to put the blame of the Glazers on the manager. Man,
but unfortunately, it's modern day football, and the buck stops on his decks. You know, when the team does badly, the coach takes the brunt. When the team does so well, the coach gets the praise. And eyeing the Mauricio Pochettino, the guy who just left Chelsea some few days ago, to be the man to take over the job. Because to be sincere with you, as much as we want to berate and Pochettino, I think he's done a great job building this Chelsea team from where they went to the 6th position Europa League in the Premier League. It's a miracle that they are playing Europa League football. So my name is saying, okay, now that we've got a chance to sign Mauricio Pochettino, now why not just close our let this man go and get someone who is more experienced in the Premier League, who has seen it done into Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, and now in Man United, then just wait on it and believe that at some point it's going to happen for them. I quite agree that there's a lot of structural problems. I agree with you from the top to bottom, but I don't think Erik ten Hag himself has held himself in good esteem, or has held himself or left himself in glory as well. He's made some absolute shocking decisions, shocking calls, mismanagement calls, if I put it that way. And I think it has cost Man United some points that would have kept them at least at worst in Europa League places. But it is what it is. Wait and see what the board will decide. But to me, I quite agree with you, to be sincere with you. I think sacking Erik ten Hag will be quite hasty. But keeping him, to be sincere with you, also leaves room for uncertainty because you don't know what you're getting next season.
Oh, we know what we are getting. We know the manager we had as fans. A manager that a man you mentioned use the word experience. I don't think experience matters in this case. It doesn't really it doesn't
Okay.
really count in this case because he won the he won the Carabao Cup in his first season. It doesn't really matter. He
Yeah.
finished in the top four in the first season. It doesn't matter. There are factors. There's a thin line between success and failure in the Premier League. And if we allow those external factors affect those successes, like what the Glazers the mismanagement the Glazers have done over the years, Mourinho came into that team with experience. How many trophies did he have before he came to United? In his first season, what happened? That went away. Van Gaal came in, a man that played that played with his team in the final of the World Cup. He came into the team, and this is what happened as well. This is a recording. If the United fan, I don't see the Glazer out banner anymore again because they feel that Ineos is in charge. Ineos is not in charge of United fans. I'm saying it. The Ineos group are not in charge of United. Yes, they might be the one running football, but they are not in charge. They are not calling the shot. They don't have the final decision to call the shot for United. You see, have Joe Glazer in that footballing board. You see, have him there. So these are the issues. But that aside, let's move on. Let's look at the play in general of what will happen tomorrow in the FA Cup. This is a repeat of last year's final between Manchester City and Manchester United. Yeah, and it's a derby. And for me, like I keep on saying, in the derby, anything can happen. Yeah, City might be coasting higher, they might be beating their chest, they might have won the Premier League for the fourth time in a row, but this is a derby and there's no room for complacency. I believe you might agree with me with this one.
I gotta agree with you.
Yes,
I gotta agree with you, but I think
yes, you look at the City team, they are fit, they are motivated, they want to be the first team that have won the FA Cup and the Premier League back to back. It has never been done. Yes, they have a chance to create a record for themselves as a team. But I also don't think that they should take the United team for granted as well, because there are players that are motivated as well. There are players that want to really come into this game and show and prove one or two things. What's your take about the final tomorrow?
first of all, like you said, this is the first time we are seeing the same finalist, back to back. It happened in over 30. I think last time that was 1986. This is also the first time we see the same managers, the final of the FA Cup back to back. Eric Ten Hag and Pep Guardiola, first time ever in history. It's never happened before. Also, let's also let you know that it's also the when you look at the games being played, like coming up, you realize that if Man City get a victory against Manchester City, to be 3 wins in a row. The last time it happened as well was a very long time ago. They won the first leg 3-1 at Old Trafford and 3-0 at the Etihad Stadium. So the bookmakers always go Man City way. It's visible to the blind and not there. We've got a goal scorer who has scored for the 2 goals this season, the top scorer in the league. They've got the player of the season in Fifo, who has got 19 goals and 10 assists, if I'm not mistaken. They've got Kevin De Bruyne, who has had, the most player with the highest number of assists in the FA Cup final with 3. Is joint with Olivier Giroud as well. So, to be sincere with you, Man City are favourites all day long. I think the only thing that favors Man United is the form of Rashford against Manchester City. I think he has scored 6 goals in 9 games against Man City in the last 9 games. I will say with Erling Haaland as well. He has scored more goals against Man United than any other team since he joined Manchester City. So, Man City have got the edge. Pep Guardiola is a top-class manager, like you already know. He won the treble last season, has won the league for the 4th time in a row, unprecedented, 6 in the last 7. About the Premier League. In the FA Cup, he's been impeccable. I think he's one of the top managers in the Cup, both the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. And you expect him to continue with that momentum. But some good news you say for Man United, there's only one player who is out. All players have returned. I don't know whether they are match fit anyway. The player missing for Man United is Harry Maguire, who picked up an injury in training. But for the rest of the team, they are fully fit. Same with Manchester City. There's no injury worries. Kevin De Bruyne is firing on cylinder. Free Foden, Erling Haaland, Julian Alvarez. I think they'll only be missing the size of Ederson, the goalkeeper, who picked up an injury when he got an eye socket injury in that one. So for me, it's going to be an absolutely tough game. Man City already are favourites. We have to say, and what is the outside chance? And in derbies, anything can happen. That is 1. 2, Man United are wounded lands. Apart from the fact that it's a chance to win silverware, there is also another additional motivation that the fact that they can also get European football, that is Europa League football, if they win the competition, and also give their coach a lifeline. Don't forget, the coach speaking before this game said one thing, and in particular, and this is what he said. He said he wants to win the FA Cup at least to continue the Man United project, because he kept on saying that Man United are not where they ought to be, but they are working hard to get back to. He pointed at the place where Man City is where they want to be, where they are on top of the whole world, in front of the crowd, and every other team looks up to them. I think they're like, no disrespect to Man United fans, they're like 6 or 7 seasons away from that position where they can say, oh, we're winning the league and the rest are second fiddle. But it's a must win for Erik ten Hag. His job is on the line, like we did talk about earlier on. He needs to give something for the club to hold on to at least give him an understanding if he's going to be staying put. And of course, for the players, come on. After a crazy season, this is the worst season ever. You know, Man United even canceled their award night, their award dinner night. They had to cancel because how abysmal the season was. And they want to give their fans something to cheer at least towards the end of the season, at least another silverware. No matter how you see it, if they get the competition, they've got 2 years under Erik ten Hag, they've won a trophy. One last season was Carabao Cup. This season was the FA Cup, like I said. But unfortunately, the record doesn't smile for Erik ten Hag. He won the FA Cup 2-1 last year. He's lost 2 of his games against Man City this season. And the way Man City are playing, it's not the best time to face them at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with you. Looking at still on the Erik ten Hag issue, the club came out and said we want to focus on the FA Cup. And that is why I fault the United, this United management, the management of United, and with the Ineos group coming in, and I think the Ineos group have started playing the textbook of the Glazers. You said you want to focus on the FA Cup, and the FA Cup is what you want to focus on, and you go behind and you're discussing with managers. You want this manager, you talk to this one, you talk to Pochettino, you talk to this one, you talk to that one. You have a discussion with Thomas Tuchel. I don't understand. Yes, why not allow this manager finish what you know you're going to sack him at the end of the day? You know you put him on that pedestal out of the club. You know that. Why not just allow this guy finish his job? Then give him a sack on a Monday. That's the best way to do it. That's the best thing to do.
I think
now,
United,
like I said, the United fans have a divided attention. They know the manager will be sacked. That is definitely. I know he will be sacked. There are no two ways about it. He will be sacked after that FA Cup final, after his press conference. He will be sacked. If he is not sacked, it will be 0.99%. That is what is left for him. He knows that, and he knows that is coming. But the management of this club should learn how football is run. Should learn from City. Should learn from Liverpool. Should learn from Arsenal. Should learn how to keep secret until the final day. This keep on happening all time and time again, and that is why I think the Glazers are running the club.
I think it's not only in Man United. If we go to Juventus, the certain man refused to celebrate with the sporting director, and the next day he was fired. The name of Massimiliano Allegri, because he knew that the board were on his neck and were like, "Oh, finally, I got you a cup." No, after all the whole pressure on me, I got you a cup with this team that should not even be competing for anything. Because I felt the clout and where Juventus is at the moment, they should be punching far above that where they are, and they are punching far below their weight. So he had a go at the sporting director. The next day was given a sack letter, and Montero was brought up to coach the last 2 games. I think that's the same thing with Manchester United. There was no way they were going to keep that secret away, because we know that if they sack Erik ten Hag, they will be heading for top managers, and they don't. Time waits for no one. As a speaking as if it could be end.
Do we have a top manager? Do we have the top managers there now? Do we have
as a Flick has
gone to Barcelona. That is
what I'm saying. As Flick has gone to Barcelona, the company has gone to. People are wrapping up the management even before the season is over. They are wrapping it up quickly. So just my are also going to think, okay,
it's not fair. It's not fair enough. It's not fair to me. If you know you're going to sack this guy, you could have allowed him talk to Bayern Munich at that time. If you know you're going to sack him, now you're going to sack him. He will leave the club. He won't have a job. You see, and that is why I
football is a cruel game. It's a cruel game.
For United, it is not cruel game. It is lack of management of information, management of the team, management of the players, and management of those that are around you, and that is just it for United.
But I think Ten Hag, no matter whether he's going to be sacked or not, every manager wants to have a final hooray, and will be able to end his Man United career if he wins a FA Cup. It will boost the CV because why? Not every manager has been to Man United and won a trophy, but this man has been there for 2 seasons and has won 2 trophies back to back. So no matter whether he's going to be sacked, he knows for his CV, for the future of his job, in anywhere he's going to, he will need that trophy. So he needs the final hooray, end the season on a high. Even if he's fired, he keeps him on a good stead. Top club will come for him. It won't be too long, but if he loses the game, it could be a deflation on everything he has done at Man United. It brings him back down to earth again, and it seems he's starting from rubbles. But let's see how it goes. He's not favorite, and that's why if I'm Ten Hag, I will not be under pressure. The man under pressure is Pep Guardiola because he's been touted to win. He's condemned, if I'm right, for lack of words, to win the game. So all you need to do is play spoiler, get a victory, and go home. The pressure from Man City might not have to relax, play their game. Good news, they've got some good players returning back, and they'll be fine at the end of the day. Like we're all saying, all is well, the answer. All he needs to do is keep a cool head and try to rally the team around him at least one more time. Very important.
Okay. Finally, let's talk about the managerial in and out. Like I said in one of the show we had, that this season will be the season of the movement of managers in and out. I think that's proven to be like that. We've seen Vincent Kompany on the verge of joining Bayern Munich. People call him a real gem. I think he has to prove himself. Though he has done that in the Champions League, but this is a big step. You cannot just move from Burnley, from Club Brugge, where he was it Anderlecht where he was?
Anderlecht.
Yes, Anderlecht where he was, to Club Brugge, to Burnley, then from Burnley, where next? To Bayern Munich. It's a big leap to that club. And he has to deliver. There is now he has a team that can spend money. He has a team that has Harry Kane. He has a team that has players. All he needs to do is just to sit down with the board, because the board wants an individual that they can control. I mean, that was the problem they had with Thomas Tuchel. Yes. So now you can sit down with the board and tell the board technically, this is what I want. This is how I think we should go about it. This is how that is it for him. Then we have Thiago Motta, who did very well at Bologna. We qualified them for the Champions League. For the first time in their history, they are going to the Champions League. I think for him, that deal is not undusted. He agreed a 3-year deal with Juventus because Juventus knew that what the Juventus did was that they had to finish the Thiago Motta deal before. When they knew that Thiago Motta has given them that consent that he enjoyed them, they fired Allegri. So that is that for Juventus. Then we had which club is looking for Chelsea? They are not really done with them because they say they are looking for. Look at what Chelsea are looking for. Yeah, as a flick, Barcelona is done. But look at what Chelsea are looking for. They are looking for a young, pragmatic, and talented manager. Where is that manager out there? I know. So
Frank, they're looking at Frank Thomas, the guy from Brentford. They're looking
is he young? It's Frank Thomas young. It's Thomas Frank young.
Oh yes, he looks like Thomas Frank looks young. He's a young man. He used to be a PE teacher. So he could do the job.
Yes, you can say Kieran McKenna is young, but
Thomas Frank is not young. How old is Thomas Frank? They said, I'm not remember the third coach exactly. A younger coach. I remember the third coach that they're also looking out for. 3 young managers Chelsea are looking out for. But again, are Chelsea not tired of gambling? What happens to a certain guy?
You just took that word out of my mouth. Gambling.
Graham Potter, it didn't work out. Thomas Tuchel, they fired him when they felt they couldn't control him and got him. I think to me, I think this is the most unfair.
I don't know if you watched my last video. I think he did an absolute job for Chelsea because you don't.
Yes, I think he's the most unfair sacking after Patrick Vieira of Crystal Palace.
Exactly. You don't expect somebody to come into a team that was overhauled from top to bottom, from top to
Oh,
bottom, and that
most
is
of them
why I
don't
said,
have Premier League
and that is
experience.
why I said, that's
And the
why I said
Premier
Todd Burnley and his consortium, cannot play the Abramovich playbook because Abramovich was a brilliant owner. He was a brilliant, no matter how we see him, he was a brilliant owner. He had the money. He knows where he wants to put his money to get that trophy. And anytime he fires a manager, he gets a trophy. Go and check
I think Man United and Chelsea are suffering from the same managerial problem. Too much influence from the top with people who don't have no idea about running football, but are
exactly.
total businessmen. They have different clubs, different both ice hockey, American football. They have so many franchises everywhere. They have a business
This is
acumen,
why I said
but they have no business running football.
this is why I
That's the
said
problem.
you don't need Americans coming to run the Premier League.
But
The
they have the
basketball
money.
franchise, yeah, they
They
have
have
the
the
money,
money.
but the basketball franchise, the NFL, all the other franchises you have in England, I mean in the
Imagine a club.
US,
Let me give you an example.
you cannot run them.
Imagine an American, just for a moment, wanted to buy a club and said he wanted the club to shift position to another city. How do you buy a club and shift this up? You're not in America. It cannot happen in America when they play a major league baseball game in Saudi Arabia and in Ghana or the but it's a live game on the league. It doesn't happen in the Premier League. It's like taking away the culture, the soul of the club. Like taking Newcastle from Tyneside, say you want to move them to maybe to Man. Come on, man. The Americans are proper. They are astute businessmen. But I tell you, when it comes to running foot, they can run basketball so well. They can run American football so well. They can run ice hockey so well. When it comes to football, they falter and they fail. I think the only one who is doing so well, I don't know how they are doing it, is the guys, the owners of Liverpool, something Henry.
The Gillette Group. Yeah, the Gillette Group.
And because he leaves his hand out of the work and allow experts to do the job. You can bring in your money, but employ experts to the club. John F. Kennedy, John Henry. Accent. Allow experts from the club. Step down. I can hear you.
Okay.
That's a big question. Is it a step up or a step down? That's the biggest question.
I don't know what to say, to be frank. I think these owners are just running like mad dogs all over the place. I think they have to come. I think the Premier League, like I said, the Premier League are even what is going on in Man City now. The Premier League are the cause of this because they need the money to come in. You just get some billionaires to come in to invest in it. The Premier League don't need their tail to be wagged. They need to wag the tail. They need to be the dog that wags the tail, not people wagging their tail for them. And that is where I fought the Premier League. You see what is going on in Man City? It was the Premier League that created this monster called Manchester City as a club. If not so, we wouldn't have been here. We wouldn't have been hearing 115 club. That's our nickname now. The Premier League that caused it. And now, instead of them to correct themselves, they are putting that this in. And I just think that there was a lot of influence in Sir Jim from the Premier League in Sir Jim buying Manchester United. If not so, the 92 Foundation owned by Sheikh Jassim were the front runner. But it seems the Premier League went on to say they don't want two giants or three giants because you have the Saudis here, you have the Qataris here, and you have the UAE guys at the middle. So the Premier League don't want that. And for me, I think it's a shame at the end of the day. So final take also on the FA Cup final, please, in 1 minute. Can you hear me now? So final take on the FA Cup final.
I don't know what anything I would tell them. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how it would go. I don't know what to say, but I think it's only going to go one way. I don't know what anything I would tell the boys. I don't know how you try to gear them up and motivate them one more time. But with the way Pep Guardiola and these boys are playing, I just hope it's not going to be a mauling come Saturday. But I see Man City winning the title and winning the double for the season.
Okay, thank you so much, Nonso, for being part of the show, and thank you for those that have find time to join us on Fancy Football on this final episode of the Big Five. We will be here. I think we will be here for the Euros. Hopefully, we are preparing for the Euros. We are coming up with really good package. Starting from next week, we'll have those packages down. Then once the Champions League finals are done and
It's
dusted,
done and dusted.
and,
Yeah.
then
We
by
focus
next week, I think by this time next week will be the eve of the Champions League final between Polish and Dortmund. So we'll be here. I think the Euro Big Five is not done yet. So, but we'll be here for the Champions League for the Champions League preview by this time, 8 p.m. on a Friday like this. We'll talk the Champions League. So do join us also for that show. Then what else again? Then we'll be talking about the transfers. Hopefully, starting from Tuesday, we'll talk about the transfers as we keep on going. We'll talk about the in and out. We'll talk about why this individual is going here and why. We'll focus on clubs as well, because last time we focused on Chelsea and also missed out on that show. But hopefully, I think we'll be back on a Tuesday where we'll focus on Man United. We'll look at Real Madrid as well. Gradually, let's see what will happen. So thank you also, and thank you viewers for being part of this show. We'll see you when we see you in our next show. Like I always say, cheers, babe.